Hey guys, this is Normal here for Technique, and today we'll do a comparison of two budget smartphones, the Micromax Canvas Xpress, the A99, and the Moto E, which is a tried and tested phone in the budget category. So these two phones have the same pricing of ₹6,999 and compete in the budget segment. So they do differ in the specs in a lot of areas. So we'll have a detailed comparison of these two phones and see which is better in this price point. So let's talk about the specifications first. So we have the Micromax Canvas Xpress, the latest smartphone in the Canvas series from Micromax. It's called the A99. It comes with a 4.5-inch FWEG display. It has a quad-core MediaTek processor, 1GB RAM, 8GB internal storage, and runs Android 4.4 KitKat. There is a 5-megapixel rear camera with autofocus and LED flash, and there's a VGA front-facing camera. And it has a 1900 milliamp hour battery. So that was the specs of the Micromax Canvas Xpress. Now moving on to the Moto E. The Moto E is a very popular model in the budget category, and it has a 4.3-inch QHD display. It's powered by a dual-core Snapdragon processor with 1GB of RAM. It has Android 4.4 KitKat, and it has a 5-megapixel fixed focus rear camera. There's no front-facing camera. It has a dual front-facing speakers. So that was the spec aspect of these two phones. Now let's go into the detailed aspect. Let's first have a look at the design and build quality of these two smartphones. Now let's talk about the design and build quality aspect of the Moto E. So the Moto E was announced early this year in May, and it created a huge buzz in this budget category with a pretty decent spec. It has a 4.3-inch QHD display, and it has a design very much similar to the Moto G. It has a curved back panel. Although the thickness is pretty on a higher side, the overall build quality looks pretty good. There is a metallic finish over the buttons, and also so this phone has a dual front facing speakers, so that's pretty good feature if you listen to music on your phone. And the overall build quality looks fine. This has a matte finish back panel, and it looks very similar to the Moto G, although thickness is on a higher side. And the device is compact because you can see that the buttons are on screen, and there isn't much space wasted on either on the top and bottom of the device, so that it makes it a compact device. Now moving on to the Micromax Canvas Xpress. So this is the first time Micromax has experimented with a new design in the budget category. You can see the design is totally different from the Micromax Canvas phones. You have the flat panels on the sides, and you have a metallic finish on either sides. It has a matte finish back panel, but it's totally a different kind of design. You have this square type camera panel, and also the Micromax logo. It has 3 capacitive touch buttons instead of the home on-screen buttons on the Moto E. So all in all, design wise, this is pretty standout design, and it's slim as well. So if you compare with the Moto E, you can see this is way slimmer than the Moto E and feels compact as well. But the biggest problem with the Micromax Canvas Xpress is that there is a lot of space wasted on the top and the bottom of the device, making it look a lot bigger than the Moto E. So you can see here the height of these two devices are very much different. So that's because of the space on the top and bottom for this capacitive touch buttons, and also the front facing camera. So that is the design aspect. So overall build quality on both these devices are really good for a budget smartphone. They have pretty good quality. They have a matte finish panel, and overall fit and finish on these two devices are good. But because the design is pretty much more sleek and also easy to hold in hand, we would pick the Micromax Canvas Xpress based on the design and build quality aspect. But the Moto E is in far behind. It does look good. Although thickness is on a higher side, the build quality is again pretty good. Now moving on to the display on these two smartphones, the Micromax Canvas Xpress comes with a 4.5-inch FWEG display. That's 854 by 480 pixels. While the Moto E comes with a QHD panel that's 540 by 960 pixels. So the display resolution is much better on the Moto E, and this clearly shows up because if you look the Micromax Canvas Xpress closely, you can see that the display shows up pixels, and it does show signs of pixelation when in certain angles as well. but the Moto E does not have that much because it has a higher resolution display and the display is smooth as well. The overall display performance looks good on both these devices, and the color reproduction looks pretty good on both the displays. But based on the overall quality of the display, we would be inclined to choose the Moto E because of the higher resolution display. But again, the Micromax Canvas Xpress also looks pretty good. Now moving on to the software and performance of these two devices, let's talk about the Micromax Canvas Xpress. So this comes Android 4.4 KitKat, and it has a almost like a core UI. You can see this UI is almost similar to what we have on core Android, and you can see the options as well. So these options are very much similar to the core Android. Even the notification sender looks very much similar. You have these quick toggle icons, and not much of change here. Even the interface, there isn't any change from Micromax. It is a core Android, and Micromax has added a lot of apps like Micromax Live, security, insurance. A lot of apps are included to make the phone better in terms of app performance. Overall, we would say the software experience is pretty good on this device, and the performance is also good. We didn't have any issues with the lag, or overall performance was pretty good. There was no lag. Even the gaming performance was pretty average, not really the best though, but still it can play almost all games right now available. It can even play graphic rich games, even though the graphic quality might not be that great. So that is the Micromax Canvas Xpress. But important aspect about this device is we are sure that this device may not receive an upgrade, because Micromax isn't that good with providing the latest update for its budget smartphones. So probably this will be the last version, the Android 4.4 KitKat, and chances of this getting a lollipop update is very bleak. But on the other hand, the Moto E comes with Android 4.4 KitKat out of the box, and one best thing about this device is it's upgradable to Android Lollipop. So Motorola has already promised that upgrade, and UI wise, this again is very similar to the core Android, even though there are some changes, but more or less it performs like core Android. And you can see the notification center is again very similar to what we saw on the Micromax Canvas Xpress. Nothing much there, and there isn't any apps included from Motorola except for the Motorola Assist and the Motorola Migrate app. Overall, we are pretty happy with the performance of the Moto E. It's a tried and tested model, but there is a slight lag when you do heavy graphic rich games, or even if you multitask, there is a hint of lag, but that is acceptable because not all users might be using this phone for heavy gaming or heavy multitasking, because it's a budget oriented smartphone, so you can't expect really stunning performance. But overall, we are happy with the performance. Again, the software experience is good. The gaming performance is pretty decent. No, again, not the best, but it's very similar to the Micromax Canvas Xpress. And one good thing about the Micromax Canvas Xpress is that it comes with the 8 GB internal storage, while the Moto E comes with only 4 GB. And we all know that with Android KitKat, you can't directly install apps into the micro SD card, and you can install apps by moving them to the micro SD card, but still then yeah, there are some apps which does not move completely, and hence you might run out of storage. So the 4 GB on Moto E might be short for many users, but the Micromax Canvas Xpress has a 8 GB internal storage, out of which close to 6 GB is available in the first boot. That's pretty good amount of storage. So in the storage and app installation, we would say the Micromax Canvas Xpress is the better choice. But if you're looking for a latest software experience, then probably the Moto E is the better choice here. Now moving on to the camera experience on these two smartphones. The Micromax Canvas Xpress comes with a 5 megapixel camera, which is autofocus, as well as it can record videos in 1080p, and it also has a flash. So that is the camera interface. You can see it's very typical Micromax interface. We have a lot of options. Also, we already done the camera review of this device, so you can check out that video to see the sample shots from this device. Now moving on to the camera on the Moto E. So Moto E is very basic camera, so you can see the interface is very simple. Nothing much to choose from in terms of the camera interface. So it has the very basic interface. So you can see here. So it does not have an autofocus or LED flash. So those two are biggest disappointments with this device. The camera performance is not that great. In daylight, you can take pretty decent shots, but not really the best. Again, the autofocus is not there, so you can't take macro shots, and the video recording is just 480p. There is no 1080p or 720 support, so again really not the best. Now coming on to the Micromax Canvas Express, the photo quality is much better than the Moto E, and you can record videos in 1080p. Even though the video sample is not really the best, but still it's better than the 480p sample on the Moto E. So all in all, camera, we would say the Moto E lags behind the Micromax Canvas Express by a big margin, because there are three important aspects. One is that there is no 1080p recording, there is no autofocus, and there is no flash. Apart from that, there is no front facing camera on Moto E. So these are the four aspects which is available in the Micromax Canvas Express camera when compared to the Moto E. So all in all, the winner in the camera aspect is the Micromax Canvas Express. Now moving on to the battery performance of these two smartphones. Both these devices have a similar battery capacity, and both are less than 2000 mAh. So the capacity is almost similar, and the performance is also similar. Both these devices can get you at least 1 day of usage if you're an average user with calls, some 3G usage, social networking, emails, etc. So you can get 1 day of usage. So battery performance is more or less similar on these two devices, and there is no clear winner. So if you're an average user, you can get 1 day of usage on both these devices. So that was a detailed comparison of the Micromax Canvas Express with the Moto E. So which is a better device to choose from? So both these devices are priced exactly similar, 699, and available exclusively on Flipkart. So both these devices have their own strong points. So the Micromax Canvas Express excels in better design and also build quality. There is a better camera, and there's also 8GB internal storage, which is not available in the Moto E. The battery performance is pretty decent on these two devices. Now coming on to the Moto E, the Moto E has strong points in terms of display, which is QHD, and also the software experience, where you can get Android 5.0 Lollipop. So that those two are the aspects where the Moto E win. So it's a priority of the user to decide whether they want better camera experience or better software experience. If you're looking for better camera experience, better choose the Micromax Canvas Express, and if the latest software is your priority, then the obvious choice is the Moto E. So that was a detailed comparison. Hope you like this video. If you have any specific questions on this video, drop a comment and we'll be glad to help you out with your queries. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button and also subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos. Thanks for watching this video.